In her last years, Isabel suffered greatly because of the difficulties with her children, the tragedies that her children suffered. Her only son died at the age of 18, within 6 months of his marriage. His only child was stillborn after his death. Isabel's oldest daughter died in childbirth, and then her son died 2 years later. Her second daughter, who became the heir, went insane. So this was a tremendous tragedy for Isabel to have to deal during the last 4 years of her life with a daughter who was increasingly mentally unbalanced, who came to hate her mother irrationally, but it was a tremendous cross that Isabel bore, and there was nothing she could do about it. Her daughter was named Juana, and this daughter and her descent into insanity was something that no one could stop, and after Isabel's death she became completely insane. So it seemed in Isabel's later years that all that she had tried to build, the Spain that she had tried to unite and preserve as a great and good country, was going to be broken up again. Aragon and Castile were going to separate. Everything was going to be lost. But it did not happen that way. Fernando lived for some years after she died, and when he died, the oldest son of the insane Queen Juana had reached the age of 16, then in Europe considered just old enough to rule. His name was Charles, and so since his mother was unable to rule and his father was dead, he took over as the young king of Spain, Isabel's grandson, and he became the great Holy Roman Emperor Charles V, the great champion of the Catholic Church during the next 40 years, the defender of Christendom. Without his support, the Church, weakened by the many scandals and corruptions that had developed within it, might well have been defeated in almost every country of Europe. So Isabel's grandson did what she had hoped that her children would do, though she did not live to see it. And finally, we should take note of Isabel's youngest daughter. Catherine was her name. She was known in England as Catherine of Aragon because she became the wife of the English king, and the English king whose wife she became was Henry VIII. It was Catherine of Aragon who was the most like her mother of all Isabel's children, who maintained her moral integrity, her faith, refused to accept the illegal divorce that Henry VIII tried to force upon her, and this led to the breakaway of England from the Catholic Church. So Isabel made her mark upon history in many ways. But above all, we should remember her as one who lived a life that was in the true sense pure, not just in the moral sense, though it certainly was that, but throughout she did not deceive, she did not dissemble, she said what she was going to do, and she did it. And people could trust her, and they did. She gave superlatively good government and a magnificent moral example. At one point in her career, for example, when she was in a very critical situation, she prayed to God, not just for his help, as we normally think. She said, God, please help me, but only if I'm right. If I'm wrong, don't help me. Show me that I'm wrong so that I may change. That is the kind of woman that she was, the kind of leader that she was. One of the greatest figures in Catholic history, and one who certainly deserves consideration for canonization. The evidence of her sanctity is strong, and someday we hope and pray she will be raised to the altar. She will be recognized by all in the Catholic Church as the saint that I, at least, firmly believe that she is.